Imagine this in a world distracted by noise, headlines, chaos, and shadows. There comes a moment when heaven whispers. A moment when a divine scroll, hidden since ancient days, unrolls for you, not by accident, but by appointment. And that moment is no due. The calendar reads August 2025, but heaven's clock is striking something else, an hour of decision, of alignment, of destiny. August 2025 is not just another passing month on the calendar. It is a divine threshold, a sacred window opened not by human hands, but by the unseen author of time. And though it may look no different on the surface, a continuation of summer, a routine march toward autumn, those who have eyes to see and ears to hear will recognize that something deeper is stirring beneath the rhythm of days. This month carries with it a specific weight, a divine urgency, a moment that separates those who drift with time from those who rise and discern it. There are moments in history when heaven intersects with earth in a unique and powerful way. When time doesn't just pass, but pauses, waiting for someone to wake up and walk through the door is opened. August 2025 is such a time. It is a window, brief, potent, and intentional. And like every divine window, it does not stay open forever. When God opens such a window, it's not so you can admire the view, it's so you can move. A window is meant to be stepped through, acted upon, seized. If missed, it can remain closed, sometimes for years, sometimes forever. That's the weight of a window. It carries opportunity, but also responsibility. And in this season, many are waiting for God to move, while God is waiting for them to respond. The problem is that too many people treat moments like this as if they were ordinary. They measure divine timing with human clocks and miss what is hidden in plain sight. They expect burning bushes, but God often speaks in subtle winds, ordinary days with extraordinary meaning. Imagine a soldier in the heat of battle who receives a radio transmission from headquarters. Just one moment, one message telling him where to move, where to strike, where to take cover. If he misses it, if he shrugs it off as static or delays in response, it doesn't just affect him, it affects the entire operation. That is what a divine window is like. It's not just about you, it's about who is waiting on the other side of your obedience. In this very hour, there are destinies hanging in the balance. Not only your own, but those connected to you, people you haven't yet met. Lives you're meant to impact, walls you're meant to rebuild, legacies you're meant to launch. August 2025 is not just about achieving goals or hitting milestones, it is about alignment. Alignment with heaven's rhythm. Alignment with the assignment written into your soul before you were ever born. And the truth is, many people don't recognize these moments until they're gone. It's only when doors shut, when silence falls, when opportunities pass, that regret comes in like a flood and people say, if only I had acted. If only I had listened. If only I had known. But you are not called to live in, if only. You are called to live in. Yes, Lord. You are called to rise in the moment, not reflect after it. A powerful, real-life example of this principle unfolded in the story of a young woman named Sarah who lived in a small town in Georgia. She worked a simple job, had dreams buried under years of self-doubt, and never saw herself as someone particularly called. But in the summer of 2020, right in the middle of global uncertainty, she felt an unmistakable nudge to start writing the children's story she had carried in her heart since she was a teenager. At first, she dismissed it. Too small, too late, too unrealistic, but the prompting kept coming, gentle, persistent, unmistakable. One day, while cleaning her attic, she found an old journal from high school filled with story ideas and character sketches. At that moment, it was as if time folded in on itself, past and present colliding in a divine echo. She sat down and began to write. One story became 2, then 10. Within a year, she self-published a book that unexpectedly went viral in parenting circles. Her work ended up being used in schools, hospitals, and even trauma recovery programs for children. A single act of obedience opened a window that no one could have predicted. But here's the point, that window was small. Had she waited just a few more months, the momentum would have passed. The world would have moved on. But because she recognized her moment, her divine window, what once seemed small became something extraordinary. This is the essence of August 2025, a time that for many may seem ordinary on the outside, but for those who walk in discernment, it is pregnant with promise, with change, with breakthrough. The question is not whether the window is open. It is. The question is whether you will recognize it and move. There are whispers in the season, clues in your spirit, confirmations that have already come, but were ignored. Go back and reread the journal entry you wrote last year. Revisit the dream you shelved. Look again at the opportunity you've been afraid to pursue. God is not calling you to understand the full blueprint. He's calling you to step through the open window while it is still open. Because divine windows are never convenient. They are often disruptive, uncomfortable, risky. But they are always worth it. Every time a divine window opens, it comes with an unspoken whisper from heaven. Now is the time. So do not treat this month lightly. Do not let routine lull you into spiritual sleep. Look deeper, listen sharper, Walk bolder, for the scroll has been revealed and the window has been opened. August 2025 is not just a date, it is a destiny moment. And destiny doesn't wait. Neither should you. The scroll of August 2025 is not a poetic metaphor or a mere symbolic gesture. It is a living message pulsing with urgency, inscribed with fire, demanding attention from those with the courage to truly listen. It carries not suggestions, but declarations. It does not whisper to the casual observer. It thunders to the watchful soul. This scroll is not meant to decorate your bookshelf of inspiration. It is meant to interrupt you. It is a divine dispatch from beyond time, an urgent communication that bypasses casual spirituality and cuts straight to the heart of purpose. In every generation, there are moments when heaven speaks clearly and without apology, moments when complacency must be shattered, when delay becomes dangerous, and when neutrality becomes complicity. The message of this scroll is not comfort. It is commission. It says, "Thus the time is short. The call is loud. The harvest is ready." And those words are not poetic. They are prophetic. The time is short, not just in the sense of global events or spiritual signs, but in the personal sense. Your time is short. The number of days left to live the calling buried inside you is not infinite. We all live under the illusion that we have time. Time to change, time to obey, time to start later. But this scroll is a holy disruption to that lie. It confronts you with the urgency of now. There are seeds you were meant to sow this year. There are prayers you were meant to pray this month. There are battles you were meant to fight this very week. And waiting until you feel ready may cost you more than you realize. The call is loud, not because God is shouting over the chaos, but because He's been speaking for a long time and many haven't been listening. The distractions have been deafening, the comforts numbing, the excuses polished. But when the scroll is opened, it silences every distraction with its clarity. It reminds you that your life is not about survival, convenience, or personal success. It is about impact. It is about legacy. And if you're still breathing, then your purpose is still in motion. The harvest is ready, not in some distant, abstract way, but right where you are. There are people around you who are desperate for direction, desperate for hope, desperate for someone to show them that courage and faith still exist. The harvest is not just about nations. It's about neighbors. It's about your coworker who's been silently breaking down. It's about the family member you haven't called in years. It's about the idea you've buried because it scared you. This scroll is a holy summons, a divine draft notice calling you out of passivity and into assignment. It does not ask for your qualifications. It does not require your perfection. It only requires your response. Consider the story of a man named Darius, a former gang member in Chicago who, by all appearances, had wasted most of his life in violence, drugs, and cycles of prison. By his mid-30s, he had already survived 4 near-death experiences and had lost nearly every friend he had grown up with. While serving his final prison sentence, he found an old torn Bible in the prison library, not out of spiritual interest, but because he was bored. Something strange happened as he read it. It was as if the words began to read him. In the middle of the night, he had a dream, vivid, unforgettable. In the dream, a scroll was being unrolled in front of him with his name written at the top. Underneath were the words, "Your time is short. The call is loud. The harvest is ready." He woke up in sweat, trembling not in fear, but in awe. Something had shifted. From that day forward, he began to study, pray, and speak with others inside the prison. When he was released, he returned not to the streets, but to the neighborhoods he once helped destroy, with a new mission: to rescue the same kinds of young men he once led astray. Within 5 years, he had founded an outreach center, helped over 100 youth escape gang life, and led countless others into purpose. The scroll was real. The urgency was not imagined. His obedience did not just change his life. It rescued many others. And none of it happened because he was perfect. It happened because he responded. That is what this scroll is asking of you. Not applause, not performance, just obedience. The urgency of the hour is not about fear. It's about focus. The time is too short to entertain distractions. The call is too loud to ignore. The harvest is too ripe to delay. There is something you've been postponing that cannot wait anymore. There is a step you've been afraid to take that must be taken now. Heaven is not neutral about your calling. It is waiting, watching, hoping you will see the scroll for what it is. Divine intervention, a sacred alert, a trumpet in the silence of your routine. The words inscribed are not for decoration. They are for activation. The time is short. That doesn't mean you panic. It means you prioritize. The call is loud. That doesn't mean it's easy. It means it's unmistakable. The harvest is ready. That doesn't mean it comes without labor. It means it will not wait for your convenience. If you do not step into this moment, you may find that the scroll closes, and what could have been yours will be handed to someone else who dared to say, yes, this is not to frighten. It is to awaken. It is to shake off the slumber, the delay, the indecision. There are windows in life that don't reopen. There are assignments that are time sensitive. This is one of them. August 2025 is not just about revelation, it is about response. And this scroll, this sacred message, is not waiting for your perfect plan. It is waiting for your surrendered heart. Will you read it and walk away unchanged, or will you let it redefine everything? The time is short. The call is loud. The harvest is ready, and the scroll is now in your hands. What will you do? The hidden scroll of August 2025 carries a profound summons, not simply to witness the events unfolding around us, but to become active agents in the sacred work of restoration, to rise up and rebuild the ruins. Throughout history, there have been seasons when the world seemed broken beyond repair. When walls had crumbled, hopes were shattered, and despair seemed to have the final word. Yet, in those very moments, God raised up builders, individuals who, with determination and faith, took up the tools to restore what had been lost, who saw not just rubble but possibility. The scroll's message is a call to that ancient and timeless mission. You are being summoned to rebuild. But what does that mean in the context of today's world, and more intimately, your own life? It means that the ruins you see, the broken relationships, spiritual dryness, communities in distress, or the internal brokenness you carry, are not the final word. They are the starting point. You are called to take the pieces, however scattered or weathered, and begin to construct again. Like Nehemiah, who stood before the broken walls of Jerusalem, surveying the devastation yet envisioning a city restored and thriving, you too must survey the ruins before you. The broken walls of your past, the fractured dreams, the fears and failures are not reasons to retreat, but reasons to advance. The scroll says, "Arise." The ruins are waiting for builders of courage. It is a call to courage because rebuilding is never easy. It demands perseverance in the face of opposition, faith when the results seem invisible, and vision when only fragments remain. But the divine message is clear: you are not alone, and the work is worth every sacrifice. To rebuild ruins is to engage in holy work, because it is an act of hope and resurrection. It declares loudly to the world and to your own soul that nothing is beyond redemption. The ruins are not a tombstone, they are a foundation for a new beginning. Often, the most beautiful and lasting structures are built upon the foundations of brokenness because they carry the weight of experience, humility, and wisdom. What has fallen down is not wasted, it is repurposed. The challenge is to see your personal and communal ruins not as a permanent defeat, but as an invitation to rise. This summons requires you to break free from the paralysis of regret and the lies of hopelessness. It beckons you to take one step forward, even when the future is unclear, even when fear whispers that the damage is too great. The ancient builders did not wait for perfect conditions. They built with what they had, one stone at a time, one day at a time, trusting that their labor would bear fruit. In this same way, your rebuilding process begins with small acts of faith, reaching out to heal a fractured relationship, starting a project long delayed, renewing your commitment to a calling you thought was lost. These small steps are the first stones of restoration. A powerful illustration of this truth can be found in the life of Maya Angelou, whose story embodies the spirit of rebuilding ruins with courage. After a traumatic childhood marked by silence and loss, and years of struggle with identity and voice, she could have remained a victim of her circumstances. Instead, Maya rose to rebuild her life and legacy, using the ruins of her past as the very soil from which her genius blossomed. She once said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." Her courage to face the ruins within herself and to rise above them became a beacon of hope for millions around the world. Through poetry, memoir, and activism, she rebuilt not only her life, but also contributed to the rebuilding of a broken society. Her story is not merely inspirational, it is a living example of the scroll's call to arise, to rebuild, to transform ruins into a testament of resilience and triumph. The same spirit that moved Maya Angelou moves within you as well. The ruins before you are not the end, but the canvas for your greatest work. This call to rebuild is deeply personal, but also profoundly communal. Often we isolate ourselves in our brokenness, believing that the task of rebuilding is ours alone, or that it is too monumental for one person to handle. But the scroll reminds us that rebuilding is a shared journey. Like the ancient builders who worked shoulder to shoulder to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, you are invited to find allies, to build community, and to draw strength from those who share your vision and your struggle. There is power in collective restoration. When you commit to rebuilding together, the load becomes lighter, the work more joyous, and the impact far greater. Whether it is repairing fractured family ties, revitalizing a community plagued by division, or restoring integrity in a workplace or organization, rebuilding is a call to unity and shared hope. It means stepping beyond isolation into a web of support and shared responsibility. This collective aspect of rebuilding echoes the heart of the scroll's message. It is not only about what you build alone, but what you build together that will endure. Furthermore, rebuilding the ruins often requires a new kind of vision, not a return to what was, but a bold step toward what can be. It means honoring the past without being imprisoned by it. The walls that have fallen may never be rebuilt exactly as they were, but the new structure can be stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It requires innovation, creativity, and faith to build something new on the foundation of the old. The scroll invites you to see beyond the rubble to a future that only faith can imagine. It calls you to dream again, to envision a restoration that is greater than restoration itself, a rebirth, a renaissance, a fresh beginning. This is not naive optimism, but courageous hope, rooted in the certainty that God specializes in turning ruins into kingdoms. The story of rebuilding is not just about recovery, it is about transformation. As you consider the scroll's message and the call to rebuild, remember this: every ruin has a story, but every story has a new chapter waiting to be written. You are the author of that chapter. The scroll's words arise. The ruins are waiting for builders of courage, are an invitation to step into your destiny as a restorer, a healer, a visionary. You don't need perfect plans or endless resources, only a willing heart and steady hands. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And trust that as you begin, the path will become clearer, the walls will rise higher, and the once broken spaces will echo with life again. The hidden scroll of August 2025 is not just revealing a message, it is issuing a challenge. Will you be one of the builders who refuses to let the ruins define the future? Will you be the courageous soul who answers the call to rebuild? The ruins are waiting, and so is your moment to rise. In the unfolding drama of August 2025, the hidden scroll issues a triad of commands that demand our deepest attention and boldest response. You must resist the distractions of the world and remain focused. Understand that you were born for this very time, and recognize that the scroll requires an active response, not passive reading. The world around us is louder, faster, and more fragmented than ever before. Distractions swarm from every direction. Digital noise, endless streams of information, political turmoil, social unrest, and personal pressures all compete for your attention. Yet the scroll's message cuts through this chaos with an unwavering command: set your face like flint. Do not turn to the left or right. Your focus is your power. This ancient image of setting one's face like flint speaks to a singular determination, a steadfastness that refuses to be swayed by every passing trend, fear, or temptation. In a time when attention is the most valuable currency, the scroll reminds you that where you place your focus is where your destiny is forged. To wander aimlessly or become sidetracked by every distraction is to lose the power that comes from disciplined, intentional pursuit. The challenge is not just to see what matters, but to hold fast to it, anchoring your vision in what God has placed before you. Focus is not merely a skill, it is a spiritual weapon against the forces that would derail your destiny. This command to focus flows naturally into the deeper truth that you were born for this moment. The scroll reminds us that you are not a random product of chance or circumstance, but a deliberate creation, crafted and positioned for such a time as this. History does not just happen, it unfolds through people divinely appointed to rise at key moments, like Esther, who was placed in a palace for a perilous season, or Daniel, who thrived in exile for a divine purpose. You carry within you a purpose tailored to this era's challenges and opportunities. The trials and triumphs of your life, every joy and sorrow, every victory and setback, have shaped you into a vessel prepared for this season. The scroll whispers to your soul that the shaking and shifting you have endured are not signs of failure, but signals of preparation. You were born for a time of shaking so that when the old falls away, you will be the one to rise and rebuild. It is a call to embrace your identity, to step into your assignment with courage, and to refuse to be defined by past limitations or current fears. This is your hour to ignite the gifts, passions, and dreams that have long simmered beneath the surface. But the scroll does not stop at revelation or encouragement. It demands a response. Reading the scroll is not enough, action is required. Every ancient scroll required a seal, a sign of acceptance and commitment. Your yes is the seal that activates the message, transforms potential into reality, and sets destiny in motion. This is the final and most urgent command. The scroll waits for your answer. Will you rise or retreat? Will you step into the call or step back into comfort? The urgency here is palpable because hesitation is costly. It allows opportunity to slip away and allows doubt to settle in. The scroll demands that you move from contemplation to commitment, from fear to faith, from silence to proclamation. It is a trumpet call to courage, reminding you that the moment of decision is the moment of power. Waiting for the perfect conditions or the ideal clarity only prolongs the struggle. True breakthrough comes when you say yes, even amid uncertainty, trusting that the path will be illuminated by your obedience. A compelling real-life example that illustrates these three commands in action is the story of Malala Yousafzai. Growing up in the Swat Valley of Pakistan, Malala was surrounded by voices of fear, oppression, and distraction. The world tried to silence her focus on education, but she set her face like flint, refusing to be diverted or intimidated. She understood deeply that she was born for this time, to be a voice for girls denied schooling. Her focus was unshakable even after surviving an assassination attempt. Yet, knowing her purpose was not enough, she had to respond. Her yes to the call meant speaking out on the world stage, advocating relentlessly despite threats and challenges. Malala's life embodies the scroll's message amidst distraction: maintain focus, embrace your God-given timing and purpose, and respond boldly to the call. Because of her unwavering commitment, she has transformed global education advocacy and inspired millions, showing that a single sealed yes can change the course of history. In this hour, the Hidden Scroll's triad of commands is as relevant as ever. The distractions are many, but your focus is your power. You were born for this time, shaped and prepared uniquely for the challenges and opportunities before you. And the scroll waits for your response, not just to be heard, but to be acted upon. It is not enough to know, you must do. The moment is urgent. The call is loud. The harvest is ready. The scroll is open. Will you set your face like flint? Embrace your divine timing and seal your commitment with a decisive yes. Your answer will not only shape your destiny, but will echo far beyond your life, changing the course of those who come after you. Now is the time to rise, to focus, to respond, and to ignite the destiny written uniquely for you. The scroll has been unsealed. The message is clear. The urgency is real. The call is yours. The darkness may grow deeper, but that only means your light must shine brighter. This is not just a motivational moment. It is a divine appointment. This August is not ordinary. It is prophetic. Don't delay. Don't dismiss it. Don't sleep through your moment. Stand up. Step in. Speak out. This is your hour. The scroll has been revealed. The time is now.